With the first pick in the 2019 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Zion Williamson from Duke University.
In 2019, the basketball world was taken aback by a prospect who was touted to be the next generational star of his era. His skills around the rim, along with his unique frame, made teams around the league see the potential in the young star. 5 years later, his career path has been very rocky, and going forward looks very unclear, and I'd say he's largely fell short of his expectations, leaving his team searching for solutions. My question to you is, what happened to Zion Williamson? Over 90% of the people that watch my content are not subscribed, so if you're messing with the videos, please hit that sub button and the noti bell so you'll get notified every time I upload. But let's get back to the hoops. Well, to start off Zion's career, we actually started off with a lot of the same issues we're seeing today. Zion Williamson missed his first 59 games of the season, which I think is kind of crazy, but it's also very impressive. This season was very, very, very promising for Zion Williamson in the games that he did play. Averaged 22.5 points per game and as a rookie, which is 23rd all time, tied with Blake Griffin. In his first game, he came out and he showed the potential. He showed the potential very early on, scoring 22 points, 7 rebounds, going 4 for 4 from 3 and 8 for 11 from the field against the Spurs in his first game. And he showed the repertoire. He showed why people wanted him so bad. He showed why the tank for Zion mantra was so heavy in the NBA prior to him getting drafted. And it really was the same the entire rookie season. When he did play, he just showed that Zion is going to be a good player. That's pretty much the sentiment that everybody got from this, even though he missed his first 59 games, like I said. And he also missed an extra 1 game, so he missed 60 games total his first year in the league. He only played 22 games. With that being said, Ja Morant, who was an excellent rookie in his own right, who did end up winning the Rookie of the Year award, Zion was coming for that. With only 22 games played, there were genuinely people speaking about the fact that Zion Williamson genuinely had a shot at winning the Rookie of the Year. He played 27% of that season. And people were already calling out for Zion Williamson to get Rookie of the Year or do co-Rookie of the Year. I think Zion, he just was that good. He was that good. Looking at him, and he did deserve the praise he got, but Rookie of the Year that year was a little bit crazy. His best game was February 25th in 2020 against the Lakers, and even though the Lakers reigned supreme that day and LeBron James gave a great performance and a 40 ball to tap off the W, Zion showed that he can hang with these guys. He can give his own with the stars. He scored 29 points and he had 6 rebounds against the Lakers, a Lakers team that would end up winning the championship that season. I think Zion very much had a great start to his career, barring the missed games, obviously. His next season, second year in the NBA and his best season in the NBA, Zion averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, and at only 20 years old, he shot 61% from the field, and all of those numbers are very, very historic. Zion Williamson was looking like an absolute monster this season, and given all that happened, the Pelicans still sucked, so there's only so much we can really say about that. But you obviously saw the potential. Zion was an all-star this season. He showed off why he was so touted after once again, and he was living up to the hype. Up to this point, absolutely living up to the hype. And then we go to the next season. He missed it. Not a couple of games. He didn't miss a chunk of the season. He played 0 games. There was no percentage to be seen. 0%. Zion did not participate in a single basketball game. After his best season, he did not play a single game. And this is just very worrisome. You're already starting to see the trends, same stuff that we're seeing today. And it's just very worrisome looking at that. And to top it off, the season after that, he played 29 games. And this is where it gets really interesting because Zion Williamson was an all-star this season, averaging 26 points per game on 60% from the field. Again, he's an all-star again, but he just did not play enough. I remember in the season, there were times where the Pelicans were the first seed and they were running over the entire NBA, and it looked like, hey, if Zion's going to stay healthy this season, the Pelicans have a chance to be really, really special. And we never got to see that. The Pelicans, to be fully transparent, are not good without Zion. They're a great team with Zion, one of the top seeds in the Western Conference and in the league for that matter, when Zion does play. But when he doesn't, this is not a team that can really hold up on its own. And we're seeing that from this season and to this day. It's just not a team that's really going to be that great if Zion does not play. And we all know his health is the main factor and the main problem with his career. So that being the case for the Pelicans is just a really, really big problem. Now, after speaking on those seasons, I want to get into last season and this season. So last season, Zion played 70 games, which for Zion is unheard of. That's the most games he's ever played in his career, and he looked decent. He didn't look amazing. He had his woes throughout the year. He didn't come in too strong, but once he really found his footing, he got into game shape, and he was playing at game speed. Obviously, missing all those games is going to affect you. It's going to affect how you move. It's going to affect how you play. You got to get reacclimated. Once he did get reacclimated, he looked like one of the best players in the league. And they got all the way to the play-in. Honestly, this was a team that was fighting for a playoff spot last year. They were almost not even in the play-in. They had 49 wins. This is clearly a great team. But the Western Conference was super stacked last year. And it is again this year. So the fact that they did end up winning all those games, very impressive. Then we get to the play-in. And they're playing against the Lakers, both fighting for a playoff spot, and Zion is going off. It's looking like an easy win for the Pelicans. It looks like they're going to the playoffs, and Zion is going to see his first playoff action. And then he gets hurt. And I can't even describe the heartbreak I felt. Man, I was so ready to see playoff Zion. I thought he was going to go on a great run. He had a great play-in game against the Lakers, and he gets hurt during that game, and it all just falls through. They end up still going to the playoffs. They end up losing to the Lakers. They still go to the playoffs. And like I said, no Zion, this team is not very comparable. They're not going to beat a lot of teams in the Western Conference. They're not going to beat any playoff team in the Western Conference with no Zion Williamson on the floor. So that being said, they go into the playoffs and they get dispatched up very easily. Which is very upsetting considering how good of a season they did have. Now we fast forward to this year, and Zion's only played 6 games. And the Pelicans look really bad. They're the worst team in the league right now. They're 4-14, and in such a stacked Western Conference, that's not something you come back from. That's not something you just turn the ship and ride the ship. We don't know when Zion's even coming back. Their whole roster's been hurt this year, but the Zion injury, of course, has been a constant throughout his career outside of one season, honestly. And it just sucks to see that a player that's so promising, that has so much talent, just can't stay on the court. And my question to you guys is, do we consider Zion Williamson a bust? I think that he's not a bust, but he's very much teetering on that line. I think Zion is one of the most talented players I've seen play basketball. He's super talented, and when he is playing and playing at his peak ability, you see why the hype was so big. You see why we thought he was going to be this giant generational player. But he's just not playing, and the best ability is availability, and that's something that Zion Williamson does not have and has never had in his NBA career. So is he a bust? No, because he's shown us he can give you 27 on 60%. He can give you 26 on 60%. He can give you historic shooting seasons on some great offense with great efficiency, but he just can't stay on the floor. So at the end of the day, if you're not playing basketball, it's hard to grade you as a basketball player. In 6 seasons worth of basketball games, Zion has played 38%. He's played 190 of 492 games. So I think that really does speak for itself. Like I said, the best ability is availability, and that clearly shows he is not available. A player playing 38% of games is absolutely crazy. Imagine going to work and you only show up for 38% of the days. So just to put that into perspective, Zion, he just doesn't play. So looking at the talent, it's hard to call him a bust. We clearly see how good Zion is. That's an all-star, all-NBA type player. But he just can't stay on the court, man. I think a couple more years of this going the same trajectory that it is, and I'd easily call Zion a bust, even though we know how good he is when he is playing. I think this just sucks overall for the Pelicans, who traded away Anthony Davis. They got this giant package back. They got Brandon Ingram. They got Lonzo Ball. They got the pick that would turn into Zion Williamson. They got another pick that would turn into a young Jackson Hayes. And in a point in time, they really did look promising overall as a young unit. And Zion, he can't stay on the floor. Brandon Ingram's really been left to lead this team by himself for a lot of times, and I don't think he's that number one option type player. Lonzo Ball, he's already off the team. Josh Hart's already off the team. Jackson Hayes is already off the team. So what they were building is no longer there. This season, they're trying to recoup. They brought in DeJounte Murray. They got more nice young players like Trey Murphy, and a couple other guys, Herb Jones, but it's just not panning out for the Pelicans. And I think soon they're going to be forced to make a move. I don't think sitting on Zion Williamson in having these seasons where you're coming in with these big expectations because of the talent he is, and just not even being able to come close to those expectations because he's not on the floor. It's just not good for your franchise. And at some point, I think you're going to have to make a move. So that's how I feel about Zion. It's a very unfortunate situation what he's going through in terms of his health, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I hope he can come back this season. I hope that they can ride the ship this season, but I'm just not seeing it. It's looking like another lost season for the Pelicans, which is very unfortunate. If you like this video, leave a damn like. Y'all been real stingy with the likes recently, bruh. Real stingy. And this one's gonna be a banger. I know you liked the video already, so just leave a like and subscribe while you're here. Got more content on the way, and I'll catch you on the next one.